The UK is known for some of the best advertising in the world, usually funny, edgy advertising that really makes a difference with the viewer. Because the advertising is a little bit out there, there's been quite a bit more regulation in the UK than in the US. An organization called the Advertising Standards Authority, a self-regulatory body, oversees advertising and is not shy about calling out advertisers who don't stay within their guidelines. It's financed by the advertising industry itself. 1% of all advertising dollars go to the ASA, so very well financed, and they have some teeth in their regulation. The most interesting thing about it is that one complaint can trigger an investigation. Just one person in a country of 80 million people can make a difference. Now, the UK allows far less advertising per hour than the US does. One of the first things you'll notice when you turn on a TV is that advertisements are clumped in bigger groups and there are far fewer commercial breaks. This allows the writers a lot more leeway in their dramatic arcs and the way they construct television, a real advantage. And you may see British programs that come to the U.S. They have a different flow than U.S. programs, especially if they have to be chopped up for commercials here. Now, the ASA looks at four things. First of all, misleading ads. Anything that has a factual problem, anything that gives the impression that it's better than it really is misleading. Offensive ads, which is the most difficult category to judge, are ads that violate mainstream taste. And we'll see in a minute, that's a nifty thing. Harmful ads are those that might harm consumers, especially children. And in the past 25 years, the UK's come down pretty hard on ads tied to alcohol and have regulated them particularly closely. Now, the biggest category of complaints that the ASA receives are irritating ads, the ads that just drive people crazy. But the ASA is quick to point out that those aren't within their purview. Irritating ads are not beyond the boundaries. They're just simply irritating, and consumers need to go to the advertisers themselves if they don't like them. The biggest category in the investigations of the ASA are misleading ads. Now, here's an example of a misleading ad. You wouldn't know it by looking at the ad, but the ASA has investigated it, and they found that what's promised in this vacation is not what consumers are getting. So they have gone back to the advertising and ordered that this print ad be taken off. One thing they're sensitive about in the UK is using underage people in ads, especially in a sexually explicit way. Here's an example of an ad where the model looks underage. Whether she is or not, I don't know. But it certainly gives that impression, and they don't want tweens or teenagers to see some of these ads in a glamorous way, the way bodies are portrayed. Take a look at this ad, and we'll talk about it.
Here, in Alsace, things are a little bit different. The hop farmers are treated like the footballers of Britain. They are idolized and adored. And why not? They are living legends. They are the men that grow the noble hops, that make Cronenbourg a taste supreme.
Excusez-moi?
Yes.
Are you a farmer?
Of course, oui.
Now, this is an ad I don't think would raise an eyebrow in the United States. But the ASA has determined that this is an ad that glorifies alcohol and that anyone connected with the production of alcohol is seen as more sexually attractive, as more popular than other people. And that was the basis for coming down on this ad. Here's an example of another misleading ad.
हॉलिक्स चैलेंज शुरू हुआ भारत के एक फेमस बोर्डिंग स्कूल में 869 बच्चों को दिया गया एक जैसे टीचर्स, एक जैसा खाना और एक जैसी फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज। फर्क सिर्फ एक, आधे बच्चों को मिला हॉलिक्स और बाकी को एक साधारण हेल्थ ड्रिंक। और पूरे 14 महीने की रिसर्च के बाद आया रिजल्ट्स का दिन। क्या हॉलिक्स चैलेंज कामयाब होगा? क्या बच्चे बनेंगे टॉलर, स्ट्रॉन्गर, शार्पर? मिल गया सबूत, बन गए बच्चे टॉलर, स्ट्रॉन्गर, शार्पर। The Horlicks Challenge, now proven.
Another ad that most Americans probably wouldn't give a second thought to. But the ASA thought this ad should be taken off the air because it implied that if you drank a highly sugared drink, you would have energy and prowess and popularity beyond what normal kids would have. And they're very sensitive about the way that kids are portrayed. Now, the next ad is one of my favorites and one of the quintessentially talked about ads in the UK, adjudicated by the ASA.
I am man, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore, and I'm way too hungry to settle for chick food. 'Cause my stomach's starting to growl, and I'm going on the prowl for a Texas double whopper. Man, that's good. Oh yes, I'm a guy, I'll admit I've been fed quiche. Wave tofu, bye-bye, now it's for Whopper beef I reach. I will eat this meat till my innie turns into an Audi. I am starved, I am incorrigible, and I need to scarf a big burger, beef, bacon, jalapeno, good thing down. I am hungry, I am incorrigible, I am mad.
The Texas Double Whopper. Eat like a man, man.
Now, I'm sure many of you found this ad offensive, and probably because of its sexist nature. But that wasn't why the ASA came down on it. It was because the size of the burger was many times the size of what you could buy at Burger King. So it was a misleading ad, not an offensive ad. And these are some of the distinctions that the ASA makes. Here's another print ad that was taken off for the same reason, the size of the hamburger. Another ad that was judged to be inappropriate because a very common complaint in the US and the UK is the way photographic tools like Photoshop is used to make someone slimmer and portraying people in an unrealistic way, that the only way you would look good in this underwear is if you had a body that fit the models. And these are the kind of ads that they've done away with, tried to crack down on. Here's an interesting ad for some noodles. See if you can find why this would get the attention of the ASA.
Dreaming of something a bit hotter? With new Piri Piri chicken flavour, it's easy to peel the top off a hottie. Play our Facebook game now and win new Piri Piri chicken flavour pot noodles. Oh, they're hot stuff.
Well, the ASA obviously thought this was misleading because eating noodles is generally not going to make you that much more attractive to other people. And while a very humorous ad, one that the ASA validated in its investigation as being inappropriate. Now, this is one of the most famous ads that the ASA has ever looked at. Well, it's actually the ad that has drawn the most complaints of any ad on television since the ASA has been in existence. Now, the ASA did not rule against this ad. They said it was appropriate for television, while extremely irritating to viewers with thousands of complaints. It wasn't misleading, it wasn't offensive to general taste, and it didn't meet any of the qualifications that the ASA would use for banning an ad, although very irritating. Now, here's some examples of some offensive ads in that dangerous territory where you talk about public taste, culture, religion, those very sensitive items. Here's one portraying the Pope with a can of beer and with a woman. Obviously, that would be offensive to Catholics, and they judged to the public at large. Here's a sexually explicit ad that was seen as offensive to general taste in the UK. And this was one of those PSAs that really tries the shock value to get people's attention, and while perhaps an effective ad, was judged to be offensive by the ASA. So that's a look at what this organization does, the Advertising Standards Authority, and the investigations that can occur from just one complaint that really put consumers in the driver's seat much more than we have in the U.S.